Hiya, mate. How are you doing?
Well, mate, we're recording this on a Monday. This is really weird. I feel like I'm in a bit of a, Twilight Zone.
Yeah, well, listen, we either got Monday sort of morning blues or we're full of energy because it's not near the end of the week or the middle of the week.
This is true.
But, well, we're not talking about the show anyway. We're going to talk about us, aren't we? Listen, it's my birthday on Wednesday, so that's why we're not recording later on in the week.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So I don't know what Rowena's got planned for me. I will be...
Neither do I.
40 years of age. It's my 40th, as we
Most excellent, yeah. How many times is that now?
Yeah, well, I'm 58 to be fair, and I feel... For the first time in my life, I feel every single day of my age. But listen, so I don't know what you've got planned for me, but
cool.
We'll probably go out, have a spot of lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know.
Try not to answer too many calls on your day.
Yeah, we might even go to bingo. Yeah, big bingo fans now.
Are you bingo fans now? Are you getting to that age?
Yeah, getting to that age. Well, we've always liked bingo. What it is, every time we go on holiday, when we go abroad, the hotel always has one game a night at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's worth like €500-600. Like, a bit like, whoa, yes, let's get onto this.
You can say get your money back.
It's just the one game, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, is that it?
So then when we come home, we get bingo withdrawal.
That's fair, yeah.
So on and off, we've sort of gone backwards and forwards to bingo. A few weeks ago, I shouted for £1,000, but I had to settle for 500 because somebody shouted with me. Now, I don't know whether I'm creating myself a little bit of a problem here by revealing that I'm a bit of a bingo...
A bingo head.
Yeah. What do you think?
No, I don't know, mate. I feel more inclined to think that if you start admitting that you're a bingo head, people are going to start throwing bus passes at you and Zimmer frames. Because it's a proper sort of old person's game.
Well, you'd say that, wouldn't you? But when's the last time you went to the bingo?
Last time I went to the bingo was... maybe a year, give or take about a year ago.
So you'll know that there's a lot of young people go to bingo now?
Sort of. I mean, weekends...
Oh, no, there's no sort of. There's loads of young people go.
Right, okay. So, when I went to the bingo, I went to the one in Wigan, and they have
Is that Club 2000 or something?
Yes, it is. And they have a big open section of it.
See, I know all the names.
Yeah, you do. Have you got memberships to all of them?
Yeah.
There it is. And there's the big open plan hall, but then they have like a sort of smaller section, so you can still hear like the numbers that are called out and stuff like that, but you're sort of away from the main crowd. Everybody around us was quite old. We were the youngest there. We didn't win anything. Jamie pressed the bingo button because she thought she was just doing a test on it, and I laughed at the number 69. Needless to say, we haven't ever gone back.
Well, it's funny. I went last night. I went last night and I won £110.
Did you put it into the club?
Did I put it into the club?
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's really, really expensive.
Your bingo is really expensive.
It really is expensive.
It's like 60 knicker a game or something outrageous.
Well, it can be because we use these Max boards and the electronic tablets, and it makes it a little less interesting because you're not dabbing. Mm-hmm. But also, if you've got a really keen bingo caller and he or she's calling to 10 to the dozen, you can miss your numbers. But at least with the Max, it marks them off for you.
It does.
And
so
then,
keep up.
Then you have to shout and then you have to press your claim button.
Yes, you do.
And I've just given everybody a little bit of expertise there.
Into how to play bingo in the modern era.
Yeah. But fine. I do feel as though at 58 years of age, I'm allowed to reveal that I'm participating in bingo.
That's fair. Yeah, I suppose. It'll be the point at which you say that you participate in crotchet and chatting, or, cake down
crotchet?
the crotchet, yeah, like knitting.
Oh, right.
Yeah. You never heard of crotcheting?
Crotcheting? Yeah, I totally thought of something else then. Crotcheting.
That's not what that is.
Is that scratching your nuts?
No, it isn't. It's crocheting. It's French term. Yeah. Crotcheting's like it's like knitting, but not jumpers.
I'm jesting.
Yeah, of course you are.
So what have you been up to?
God.
You can't remember?
No, I don't think
it's been that fulfilling you can't remember.
I think I've done an awful lot, to be honest. I obviously watch a bit of the football.
Well, that's talking about the football, because apart from our own show, we had the Lionesses playing last night, and they won on penalties.
They did win on penalties. I watched the penalty shootout. I thought...
Ooh, be careful.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I thought the goalkeeper, Hannah... Oh, God. The England goalkeeper did really well. Yeah. I thought Beth Mead was unlucky with her penalty because she slipped and she was adjudged to have touched the ball twice. Yeah. During the slip, so she had to retake it, and then it was saved. And I thought that was very unlucky. And then as soon as Chloe Kelly stepped up, I thought she's going to smash this in, and she absolutely did. Yeah, and it's probably the first time in a while that I've been quite happy for England to win something.
Did you watch the last one?
Yes, I did. Yeah, my schedule was a bit less flexible, so I had to. Kind of watch it around my shifts. But again, I was watching it when Chloe Kelly scored. If we can get her on the show, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, it would be. Listen, I noted that Joey Barton, obviously, not the biggest fan of ladies football, but what I did really find quite amusing was the fact that they showed one of his penalties and said, "Listen, you're not good at taking penalties yourself."
No, he's not. Well, I like to think of the response that was given about his latest tweet, which is that England ladies have literally won more Euros than he's had England caps.
Well,
one England cap, and they've now won 2 European Championships. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and that'll probably go on for a good few years now. When's the World Cup?
2 years' time. Yeah,
2 years' time.
Yeah,
so they must go into their favourites.
Yeah, I mean, they made it to the final 2 years ago and lost to Spain. And they obviously just played Spain again. So,
I don't watch a lot of ladies' football. I did back in the day when we were at Stormy Corner because we had Liverpool ladies ground sharing.
Really?
Yeah. So we often used to watch the old Arsenal team. When they were really big it was before the Super League.
Yeah.
They were really fantastic, really, really good players, and really enjoyed watching them.
Yeah, like Alex Scott and Rachel Yankee.
We watched all of them in the days.
Those are some good times to be an England ladies fan, I suppose. But no, it's just getting bigger and bigger, isn't it?
I don't watch a lot now because of, obviously, I don't have a great deal of time. But when I do have a little bit sort of downtime when I'm going to bingo, like I did last night, I was watching through because they have a bandit room, a gaming room or whatever you call it, slot machines in there, and there was a big screen there, and you could hear everybody cheering. So in between the numbers coming out, and there was big money on this, it was like £500 a house. I was watching through the window, and I could see the penalties getting taken. And so I do sort of bob in and out of the football when I do have the time. But listen, congratulations to the ladies. Listen, we're hoping that in time when we get back to Skem ourselves, we'll have a Skem United ladies football team, which will be the first for Skem in its 143-year history. By the time we get round to it, probably 144, 145 years. But what have you been watching? Anything before we get on with the show?
I started watching Grey's Anatomy again. So Jamie got really into it. I'm 8 series in already, but I've gone back to the beginning just for a benefit. Grey's Anatomy, and that's literally it. I spent most of the weekend doing the garden and the driveway. And what's I doing on Saturday? Saturday was the garden. Sunday was... we went up to the Lake District. I kind of...
Whereabouts anyway, nice?
Carnforth. It's just
where Carnforth?
Where her parents live. So, not an awful lot to do, but, just...
I go to Kirby Lonsdale quite regularly, which is not far away. Love it around there.
It's a lovely spot, to be fair. Yeah.
You're tired? What am I boring you?
No, God, not at all.
It's the first time I've heard you. You're on the show.
Honestly, Brody just kind of had me awake a little bit during the night.
You better be careful. The
not
terminology.
Again,
if he's keeping you awake of a night time, you need to give your head a wobble.
I really need to make it clear that my dog is called Brody and it's not the Glossop North End manager. Yeah. For the third time, I will continue to have to... make
we're going to have to get him on the show anyway, aren't we?
Well, we've already had him, haven't we?
Yeah, but listen, we're coming into a new season, aren't we? Listen. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
It's our second ever guest.
Should we leave it now and get on with the show? Stop yakking.
Fine, go on.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ Vidget. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the 4th episode of Season 2 of the Speaking Frankly Football Show, and a warm welcome to my co-host, AJ.
Hello Frank, hello everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in to, again, the 4th episode, the 2nd season of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. Coming up today, the Northwest Counties football is back! Yay. So we will be going over
Just a pity we're not there.
I know. But I know, but we're going to go over the results from the first weekend. There were already some shocks and some big results, and some teams looking to stamp an early, their early claims to promotion after the first week. We will be looking at the Shrimps, Morecambe FC, who their turbulence just seems never ending at this time. And then the focus of today is going to be Skelmersdale United, as some major changes have occurred, as I'm sure you may have seen, but if not, we'll tell you everything. We're also going to look ahead to the coming fixtures. We're going to make our long-term predictions on who is going to win the Northwest Counties leagues, and because we don't have a guest, this one will be a much shorter episode with an awful lot more digestibles going on. But never mind, without a guest, the guest in itself is Skelmersdale United. So Frank, where are we going to kick off?
Well, first of all, the reason that we have not had guests on the last couple of shows is purely down to logistics. We've got plenty of guests lined up. Unfortunately, time has sort of got in the way. The busyness of life, and obviously the news that we, following our 9-0 defeat at Runcorn on Saturday, the 19th of July, Tommy decided to sleep on his feelings before he resigned the following day. It was a very, very difficult conversation. As many people know, Tommy is a friend of mine, will always be a friend of mine, so it wasn't the... Listen, I can't say I wasn't expecting it, because I was to a degree. I said to Rowena the night... on that particular night, that I don't know how a 74-year-old man puts up with the pressure, considering that I'm 20 years younger, and I'm struggling, to be fair, as you would expect. The enormity of Skelmersdale United Football Club, the pressure that we all have in keeping the momentum. I can't even say momentum really, but keeping the football club afloat. Is difficult. So when he'd made that decision, I pretty much thought, it's probably right for Tommy. He's got a good life, behind the scenes. He's got a holiday home up in the Ribble Valley. Is it Ribble Valley? I don't know if it's the Ribble Valley. Well, it's out by Kirby Lonsdale. Bentham. Hi, Bentham.
Oh, Bentham. Yeah, that's Yorkshire, that.
It's almost, isn't it? It's on the borders.
It's pretty much his Bentham, yeah. Lovely place, very quiet.
Yeah, lovely, yeah. Plenty of pubs and restaurants at this
Exactly why Tommy picked it, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I think when you kind of boil it down, Tommy was under immense pressure and had been for a good chunk of last season. He rode that out, and wanting and was kind of coming into this season adamant that he wouldn't quit. He wanted to start again, rebuild from scratch, and unfortunately, just couldn't bring in the logistics that are required to rebuild a team successfully from scratch. He still remains the greatest manager in the club's history, arguably.
Certainly post, certainly from a semi-professional standpoint, in the 50 odd years we've been in the semi-professional ranks, his CV, is second to none. Had some great moments under his management, and I know a lot of the supporters said the same thing when he decided to make that decision. I think the difficulty, as we say, one, getting relegated into the amateur sort of leagues again, is a throwback to when we were almost, when we were winning amateur cups, the amateur FA Cup at Wembley and the amateur European Cup, and that's where we made our name. Everybody says, "Oh, crikey, it's we've come to such a low ebb in the club's history," but that's where we made our name. It'll be a little bit more difficult this time round because I think the chairman, Bill Gregson, who managed to bring success to the football club, had a few bob. We're not in the same position now. It's a lot more difficult now. There's a hell of a lot more clubs in the area. People can say it's diluted. It is to a degree because you've got more clubs, but the quality is exceptional. I think there's an awful lot of snobbery attached to the fact that we're playing in the Liverpool County combination. And I have to say it, there's a lot of players that were involved with Skem last season that got us relegated that would struggle in the Liverpool County combination as well. So if the hope is that perhaps some of those that gained experience with us last season, when they realise that they're either not going to get the opportunities that they wanted at the level that they've decided to stick at, then they might come back and they might help us out, and we might benefit from the fact that they had a season's experience in the Northwest Counties. But so from that perspective, Tommy has always been on the back foot. The football club has. Even in the Northwest Counties, it was difficult then because you have the finances dictate what you can and what you can't do.
And I think we completely misanticipated just how difficult the Northwest Counties Division 1 was going to be.
Pretty quickly we realised it was full of quality. There's absolutely 100%. No doubt of that. And the other thing that we didn't consider was the amount of money that's knocking around in that in that division.
There's a lot of teams in that division that are very heavily financed, and they're still in that division. Now, there's perennial heavyweights that are up there fighting in the playoffs, but there's also teams in the middle of the table that you maybe wouldn't necessarily expect to have an awful lot of money kicking about that do. And so from that perspective, once again, we were on the back foot from the off, because I think our budget was almost certainly the lowest in the division, without a single shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, it sort of goes back to the days when Tommy was having success and his little black book was the highest quality, but we had money and he could bring people to the football club. We didn't have the greatest budget even back then, but what we had, Tommy did well with. And I think when 12 months ago, just over 12 months ago, 14 months ago, when I brought Tommy back to the football club, the hope was that we were going to generate a fair bit of sponsorship, or we were going to raise funds, sufficient funds to build a team, for the quality. And his little notebook would have come into play then. Very, very difficult to attract the calibre of players that Tommy would have needed to get us competitive in Division 1 North. You're looking at a minimum of £1,000 just to be, I'd say, competitive to this sort of middle table.
Is that £1,000 a week?
£1,000 a week, yeah.
Yeah, which we haven't, that wasn't generated over the course of the season as much as we tried to raise those funds, and we are grateful for the sponsorship that we did have. We just needed more. We just needed more bodies to contribute as well, and we couldn't raise it. We didn't, which meant that Tommy's little black book was near enough ineffective, really, because he couldn't call on the players that he would have wanted to.
No, without a shadow of doubt. And I felt sorry for Tommy in the sense that there's a lot of players that are sort of getting to the end of their career that could have returned a little bit of the a favour to Tommy and helped him out, and I'm pretty sure he probably feels the same way. Not that
yes.
I'm speaking on his behalf, and listen, he won't like us to be too gushing about him because
it's not the man he is.
Yeah, listen, he'll be hurting. I'm hurting. I went to see him last Monday. We had a cuppa. We spoke the day after. I've not spoken to him since, but I will be doing sometime this week. Like I say, big friend. Always got a lot of time for Tommy.
Yeah.
But we move on now, and
yes.
and so.
So without the manager, we had to address that pretty quickly in the midst of pre-season, and with games coming in and thick and fast, we needed a management team who could assemble us a squad capable of fighting in the Liverpool's Counties Premier. And so on last Tuesday, training session, we invited Nick Matthews and John Barnes down to discuss how the club and the individuals could collaborate and move forward. There'd been a lot of noise surrounding Nick, and a lot of people endorsing him as the next manager of the club, and that noise got an awful lot louder when Tommy decided to step down.
Yeah, including Barney as well, as his nickname is, and not to be mistaken for John Barnes that played for Liverpool.
No, the one who sang "I'm the England man." That World Cup song. Not the same John Barnes, but John Barney Barnes came along with Nick and examined the training session on Tuesday. Had a sort of very productive conversation with Frank and myself.
Yeah, and we made the decision to bring them on board.
Yep.
Like you say, there's been an awful lot of noise surrounding Nick particularly. I'd like to set the record straight, because 2 seasons ago when we appointed Matt Potter, Nick did apply for the job, but he decided to withdraw himself from his application because he was injured at the time. He was struggling. I don't know whether he just had an operation or he was waiting on an operation on his knee. So he ruled himself out of the job. So those people that were saying that we should have brought him back, 2 years ago, it wasn't on. Wasn't even part of the equation. Then if you move fast forward 12 months to sort of 12, 14 months ago now, as it would have been, yes, Nick did apply for the job, but we brought Tommy Lawson to the football club because sometimes you bring people in based on their CVs, and there's absolutely no doubt about it at all. Tommy's CV is one of the best in the Northwest, certainly in sort of step 4 right down to step 6. So the decision to bring Tommy Lawson to the football club was a bit of a no-brainer. So, like I say, you fast forward to the position that we're in now, and it's. I think when we were discussing this, because you and I had a big conversation, we thought about the collaboration, because John Barnes and both Nick Matthews are well known in Skem. They both managed, at a fairly decent level, and it was the Skem connection. So it seemed to be like a good opportunity to bring them in as a duo alongside Andy Barlow, who's carried on, which we're completely happy with. It was a great decision by Andy Barlow to stay on, and as Andy said, I want a chance to get us back out after being part of the the football club when we got relegated.
Yeah.
So you've got a team of Skem people, and hopefully we're going to try to attract Skem-based players. Mm-hmm. Not that that's easy. It's far more difficult than when we talk about noise. This is an opportunity for people, players from Skem that think they've got the talent to come and back it up. Mm-hmm. So far, that's not been the case. People are walking away from it. So, like I say, people are very, very easy, very, very quick to come forward and criticise, but when you try it, it's not as easy as they think.
Not nearly as easy as it looks. So the rebuilding operation is still in its infancy. Nick and Barney and Andy are fully aware that they have 3 weeks before the season begins, and know that they need to get good quality players in through the door, and I'm reasonably assured that they are working as hard as they can to address that and make that happen. Make no mistake, they do have a tough task on their hands, just as tough as Matt and Pascal, probably tougher than even Tommy had. And with the results of this suggested over the last week, it's not going to be a quick fix just because we have new men in the dugout.
No, I think it's just as tough, and we'll certainly see over the next few weeks whether it's going to be even tougher. But what you can say is through this collaboration, we're trying to generate a Skem powerhouse, and that can't be a bad thing. And we keep going back to the noise. The noise wanted it. Yeah. The noise has got it. Now we've got to prove
the noise needs to support it.
Yeah, and listen, we hope when the opening game of the season, I think we're at Joey Orr's on the 16th. Yeah, away from home, the 11:30 kickoff. I think the second match is it King Harry?
Yes, it is King Harry, and that's also away.
And it's at 3:10 kickoff, isn't it? Strange kickoffs, but just to put it into perspective, there are a lot of our teams that we're playing away from home. They play on community sport hubs, so they've got
just when they can book a slot.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, they've not had a training session first, since they came for the meeting on Tuesday. So right into the Lions' Den on Thursday against AFC Knowsley. I think we lost the game 5-1 in the end.
We did.
But we started off fairly well. It was a tough 20 minutes, opening 20 minutes, but once we'd settled down,
we got a foothold in the game.
Yeah, we seemed to do all right.
Some good passing moves and some good positive, moments from players. And we even took the lead just after half time. Yeah,
there was a lot of changes made, but we still managed to get. I think Aidan Bedford scored his first goal for Skemmy since left. Gone back to Ashton Town, I think. So when we're talking about Skem-based players, we're not able to keep him. He's decided to go elsewhere, but that's how difficult it's going to be over the next few weeks. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But listen, it was in the end a resounding victory for AFC Knowsley. Probably come to expect a little bit because they've got a more established squad. Yeah. And very last minute we put a group of players together that clearly haven't played together, and it showed.
It showed, yeah.
Yeah, and then we move on to Saturday. We went all the way to Crewe and played Barney's old team and got battered 5-0. 4 goals shipped in the first half.
Really?
And 1 goal in a slightly better second half. We didn't look particularly bad. But yes, again, you put a group of players together that have never played before. It's always going to be difficult.
Yes, it is.
So we've got 2 training sessions this week before we play Ashton Athletic on Saturday. So that gives the opportunity now for recruitment, hopefully recruit more players, which is not going to be easy.
No, I think
Nick Matthews has already realised that it's nowhere near as easy as he thought it would be. He went on record to say that some players would sooner play with the mates on a Saturday than come and stick the Skem shirt on. Found that hard to agree with if that's the case. I think it surprises me. Let's put it that way. I mean, the Skem name should still stand for something.
Yeah.
But if you think you're too good for the Liverpool County Premier, then I think you need to give your heads a good wobble and try it out. Mm-hmm. See whether you're good enough for it yourselves. Never mind saying you'd sooner play with your mates.
Yeah,
quite disgusting, really. So we've lost our 2 opening games, but under Nick, but we weren't expecting to do anything.
Yeah, no, and given how little time he had to kind of bring his own players through the door and prepare for this as he would have liked, it was maybe to be expected against 2 teams who have, had plenty of time to gel and establish themselves, within their own squad and within their own league. So this week is kind of the first week where Nick and Barney and Andy, or the NBA as I call them, Nick, Barney and Andy, have an opportunity to build something properly and for themselves. So it will remain to be seen over the next week or so how well that has gone.
Yeah, and to prove how difficult it is, because they're still trying to recruit players, they can't even work on shape.
No.
Formations, anything. They can't work on anything at all, really, other than getting players fit.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we've got a strength and conditioning coach.
We do.
In Josh, and hopefully he can bring that little bit of extra to us, what we've not had in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And combined with other people that we're hoping to bring into the football club, a head coach. We're still looking for a head coach at the moment. We've got somebody coming tomorrow night who's going to put it on a session for us and see how that goes.
Excellent.
So we work on all these things in the hope that we can improve everything around us. But listen, let's make no bones about it. It's going to be a difficult season ahead. Anyway, listen. We're going to move on to the Northwest Counties here because the Northwest Counties started up again. And what we'll do is we won't go too sort of, what's the word for it now? Too logistical as we normally do, because we're not involved with the Northwest Counties.
No. So we'll just pass over it, I think.
We'll pass over it a little bit, but it's interesting to see that, obviously, if you're looking at the tables from last season, and we know who went up, Bury and Lower Breck. You look at the teams below that and you'd automatically think who's going to be promotional material. And we'll come to that at the end of this sort of roundup of what's gone on in the Premier Division, Northwest Counties, Division 1 North and South. And we'll try and predict, as we can, as we've done in the past, predict who could be potential champions, runners-up or playoff winners, and of course who's going to be relegation fodder. So it was an interesting return for Wythenshawe, but it did not go as planned because they lost. Did they go down 3-0?
3-0 against Padiham. Yeah, Padiham, who were last season's playoff finalists.
Yeah, they finished in 4th place, didn't they?
Yeah, they carried on from where they left off last season, beating last season's relegated Wythenshawe by 3-0. They got a dream start. Freddie Mitchell opening the scoring after 3 minutes, and then Joel Brownhill's penalty on the stroke of half-time, putting him in a really commanding position going into the second half. And then halfway through the second half, Jack Price put the cherry on the on top of the cake to give Padiham a dream start to the season and give them the early pace-setting material as they look to go one step further than they did last year.
And it looks as though they're maintaining that interest locally, because they had a decent crowd of 358.
Certainly did. It was an enormous turnout. I should imagine that Wythenshawe would have contributed somewhat towards that, but given how far south of Manchester it is, and Padiham being in the northeast of Lancashire, that's quite a trek for the visiting supporters. So Padiham, the interest absolutely sparked there.
Yeah, and just looking at, because obviously they were our former landlords, Bearscough could only manage a draw against Abbey Hay, which was rather shocking for me, but more so because of the fact that they for many people, were sort of outside favourites for winning the league.
Yeah, so they finished really strongly at the end of last season with, I think, 10 straight wins to kind of round off the season before that last game defeat against Bury. And they made one or two signings and people thought that they would kick on, but a bit of a stuttering start against mid-table Abbey Hay. Matt Hamilton opened the scoring with 10 minutes of the game to go, but Edward Schreibert replying within 6 minutes of the restart to give Abbey Hay a point there in front of a crowd of 101 at the community ground. That seems
really disappointing.
That seems a little low for Burscough, who'd made an awful lot of noise. Certainly with changes on the field and having retained an awful lot of their squad, including our former goalkeeper Ben Barnes and their top scorer from last season, Callum Laird, both staying at the club, but then also off the pitch as well, had made a few good sponsorship arrangements, had a new front of shirt sponsor, a new kit, and then a crowd of 101 turned out to see them against Abbey Hay.
I'd like to say that a lot of that is down to the fact that it's the last week in July and a lot of people are on their annual holidays, but then you look at some of the other, and we'll come to some of the other crowds, and they're sort of far more healthy than Burscough's is. So listen, any shocks amongst them scores there?
So I think the biggest shock actually came down in South Manchester, where West Didsbury and Chorlton were beaten 5-2 at home to Pilks. So Pilks last season finished 21st in a very uninspiring season where a lot of people thought that they might go down, whereas West Didsbury and Chorlton got into the playoffs last season before exiting gallantly in the semi-finals against Lower Breck. And West Didsbury and Chorlton, again, another team who'd kept a lot of their playoff squad with just one or two new additions, started quite catastrophically, really. West Didsbury and Chorlton did have a penalty given to them in the first half, but Jordan Lazenbury's spot kick was saved by the People's goalkeeper, and the teams went into half time 0-0. But then Pilks absolutely blitzed West Didsbury with Kyle Robinson-Murray grabbing 2, Ryan Bagan grabbing 2, and then Liam Bott finishing the game off in style 3 minutes from time, in front of another healthy capacity crowd of 569 over in South Manchester.
I don't know whether you can read a great deal into that, because it was 2-2 with 15 minutes to go, wasn't it? And then Pilkinson has scored 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. So whether they're just taking their eye off it, because I would have thought Pilkinson were going to be one of the season strugglers, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so. Yeah, I mean, I went to see them actually against Sandbach United a week ago, and they did really well. They had some really good attacking wingers, particularly. And they gave Sandbach a really good game. Sandbach ended up winning that game by a goal to 0, which maybe shows you how close the talent can be between the Premier Division and the North-South divisions as well.
I think if you don't keep your ear to the ground, you don't know whether anybody's invested money in these football clubs, do you?
No, so from what I'm able to see, I think Pilks had a bit of a turnover in players. I certainly identified that there were 2 who made their bow against Sandbach that were quite new to the team, but I certainly wasn't expecting this, and particularly not against a heavyweight of the division like West Didsbury and Chorlton.
So So looking at some of the other results,
yes,
Ramsbottom versus Atherton LR.
I think that was probably the tastiest fixture on paper going into the weekend's lineup of fixtures, and it was a win for the home side.
Yeah, I quite fancy Ramsbottom, but listen, we'll come to that at the end. And Atherton, you probably say got a good chance of the playoffs as well, but
possibly.
We'll come to that in the end. Glossop North End versus City of Liverpool. So City of Liverpool, once again, I was expecting them to be relegation fodder. They've got off to a 2-goal start. Andy Manjoba, Kanga, it depends what you call him. He scored the penalty opening goal in the 18th minute via the penalty spot. As anybody does know, Andy played for Skem for a very short period of time. One hell of a player, but also had different aliases, names, and got us into a little bit of trouble with paperwork, and we ended up having to replay the game against Bearscough.
That was him.
Yeah, we beat Bearscough, and we had to play them again, and I think we drew the game in the end. But what a talent he is, and if he sticks around at any football club, he'll score loads. He really will. But listen, Glossop North End managed to get 2 goals back in the second half to sort of eke out a 2-2 draw, which I think on the face of things, I think Richard Brodie, our good friend, will probably say that was a win in terms of being 2-0 down.
Yeah, it shows a good amount of mental fortitude, particularly against a team that's coming into the Northwest Counties from higher league. Regardless of City and Liverpool struggles off the pitch, they've clearly got some talent on it, and I think Richard will argue that after last season's difficulties, he'll be glad to have started this season on a positive spin, but knows that there's a fair bit of work to do.
Yeah, most definitely. Exton Villa, Preston Chase, 1-1. I'm expecting a lot of Exton Villa this season.
Yeah, so am I. A very well supported club with an awful lot of infrastructure in place to finance some good success. They got off to a good start when Jack Wires-Roebuck, the long-serving right-back of Exton Villa, opened the scoring after 20 minutes. And Prestwich, who, again, were another team who we thought might be relegated last season, got themselves back on equal terms just after the restart through Josh Tinker. And therein it stayed, but a positive start to the season for both clubs. And we certainly wish them both well in this season ahead. 213 turning out at the Jim Fowler Memorial Ground to see the Villa take a draw.
And a opening day win for Chadderton. I'm assuming they've moved into their newly refurbished plastic stadium, plastic pitch stadium.
Yes, they have. Yeah,
and managed to through Benito Lowe, fabulous player, ex-Berry player, scored the winner in the 12th minute via the penalty spot, and a really good gate there at 248. I'm expecting big things out of Chadderton as well.
So am I. Yeah, we spoke to their manager in season 1, and he said that there was positive infrastructure going into the club. They just missed out on the playoffs last season, having been one of the early pace setters. So there'll be another one who'll be determined to go one better this season, particularly at their new ground.
Yeah, because things sort of faltered towards the end, didn't they?
They did, yeah. I think they found it particularly disappointing after the turn of Christmas, but they'd made a couple of good signings. Lewis Simon Byrne returned to the club after a brief stint at Bury, which will no doubt reinforce the striker options for Chadderton there, and so we will look to see how whether that turns into a long-rooted positive for Chadderton, or whether it's just early season form.
Quickly run through the other results. AFC Liverpool lost to Earlham at home at their new stadium in Bootle, 3-2.
Cheadle Town beat Barnoldswick by 2 goals 0. FC Isle of Man and Litherton Remaker played out a 0-0 draw on the Isle of Man. Longridge Town beat FC St Helens by 2 goals.
Late winner for them, yeah.
Yeah, 2 late goals from Matthew Van Wyk, securing the opening day win for Longridge. And South Liverpool were defeated by Stockport Town by 3 goals to 0.
Right, so listen, we've gone through all the results there. Now we're going to make our predictions.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win the league?
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you think about it. It's a difficult one.
I'm going to say Padiham.
Right, yeah, a good shout.
I think Padiham will win the league. Like I said, their player retention was phenomenal, and beating Wythenshawe by 3 goals to 0 on opening day, I think is that's an early season flex, if you like, and I would think that they'll carry that through, particularly if they keep Joel Brownhill and Josh Briggs, who were 2 high scoring players for the Storks last season. So Padiham are my tip to go up.
Right, my tip to go up purely based on the fact that Steve Wilkes has been the manager. Well, he's been in management now for 28 years. I think it's something like 28 years, not short, far short of 30. I think Ramsbottom United are going to win the league.
I can't lie, it would be lovely to see Ramsbottom United win, or at least go up, just again purely because of the Steve Wilkes connection. He was one of our very earliest guests on season 1, so we have a long-standing warmth and appreciation for Ramsbottom United, Steve Wilkes, and Harry, what's his name? Harry Williams.
Yeah, the man that doesn't have any internet. No,
it's a purely cash-only society at Ramsbottom United. Yeah. So you're saying Ramsbottom.
Yeah, and you've got to pick 4 playoff teams. Okay.
4 playoffs teams.
Yeah.
So I think for me, straight away, Ramsbottom United.
Yep, Rami.
Yeah. Chadderton,
yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Are you still thinking West Didsbury and Sean might sneak in it, or is it just based on that? It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because the opening day results are not a really good indication of what's.
Yeah, I think ahead. I will still say West Didsbury and Chorlton, because they've had a really good player retention, and so I think that will be beneficial to them. And I think it will play a part. And I think for my last team, I will go with... I don't know how likely it is to happen, but I really would like it to. And I'm going to say Atherton LR.
Yeah, because Atherton LR bring a consistency, don't they?
They do.
In everything.
Yeah, and I think... Davy Jones has them really, really well structured. Now, what I will say, not necessarily in defence of LR, but their promotion squad is a little bit more broken apart now. So they lost a few players who were excellent bit parts in last season. Alex Maloney and Lance Horton were 2 players who left at the end of last season, and there were a couple more that departed besides, as well as assistant manager Gary Flitcroft leaving for Pastures New as well. It'll be interesting to see how much of an effect that has on the Crilly Park outfit. That's my prediction, and I think that's my heart saying Atherton LR.
Right, well, I'm going to go through my list. I'm going to start off with Padiham. I think Padiham
will make the playoffs, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you've got them down as champions. I've got them down as the playoffs. At Chadderton, I think they'll be there or thereabouts.
Yes. Okay.
It gets a little bit more difficult now because you're looking at the possibilities of there's Exton and Atherton alone. You hope, you certainly think that one of those 2 teams, from a promotional aspect will carry that momentum into this division. And quite often when somebody has been promoted, they've ended up doing fairly well in the league above. So the option is it going to be Exton or is it going to be Atherton LR? So I'm going to go with Atherton LR. And my final prediction, which is a little bit more difficult because I'm running through it here, and I'd like to say West Didsbury. But you know what I'm going to go with? Go on, guess who I'm going to go with?
I don't say Burscough.
I'm going to go with Burscough, yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, they'll love me for that.
Yeah, fair enough. I feel like, they're dark horses.
Yeah, listen.
Maybe they'll come good. Maybe they will. I'm surprised you haven't said Earlham, to be fair.
Yeah, listen, Earlham, I mean, you look at them last season, they finished in 7th. I was surprised you didn't go Earlham.
It was a toss-up between Earlham and Atherton, but the heart ruled the head on that one, which is why I said at LR.
Okay, there's normally two relegation spots, isn't there, in the Premier Division? So who are you going to go for relegation?
Okay.
Bear in mind that we're going to have a few guests from possibly relegated teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for me, I think I'm going to say Prestwich Hayes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think they're a team that have fought off relegation. I think the last couple of seasons. I think did they go up the season before last?
Oh, I can't remember.
Right. Okay. So I think they did a good job last season to hold off relegation and send Squiresgate and Cone down, but I do not know if the gap is going to be quite as close. Quite as open this time around. So they're my pick to go down. And I think the other team that I think are going to go down are City of Liverpool.
Right.
Okay. Now, I know they are a team that have had an enormous turnover this season. We saw it during parts of last season, players walking away from the club and having to leave. They've got a new ground. They've got a little less money in the bank this time around. And although we've seen them build a decent squad, and they've started with a very commendable game against Glossop North End, I just don't think it'll last.
No. Okay, that's fair shout. It all depends on what money gets brought to the table, because these things can change very, very quickly. And then, listen, we'll take note of that. We might sort of alter our predictions a little bit, if we're allowed to, because it's always more difficult. People do the business in right in the summer. And don't forget, we're still in the summer. A lot of players will either be on holiday and coming back, and there'll still be a fair bit of decision making to be made as well. So listen, with that in mind, I've gone for South Liverpool for relegation.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just torn between two teams here that I think might go down with them, and I think Barnoldswick might be one of them.
Okay.
How did they finish? Yeah, they finished relatively poorly, didn't they?
Well, I think they were about 16th, 17th, something along those lines. Let's have a look.
Listen, I did think
17th. Yeah.
I did think City and Liverpool could be possibilities for relegation. Looking at some of the signings that they've done, but then they've made. But with Andy Manjoba there, if he stays and he scores goals, I think they'll stay up. If he doesn't, I think they'll struggle. So then, who do you look at then and say you're going to go with them? Yeah, I would have said Pilks before I seen the result there. So I'm going to go with Charnock Richard.
Charnock Richard?
Yeah.
They finished 12th last season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, it could be Pilks.
I mean, they also won a cup last season.
Yeah.
That's an ambitious shout.
Controversial, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But I've said it now. I can't.
You can't take it back. It's recorded.
Take it back.
It's recorded.
So let's move on to Division 1 North. Of course, Division 1 North was where we played last season.
Yes, it was. Yeah. And I think the pick of the results there was no doubt up towards Cumbria, where Holker Old Boys absolutely steamed over Nelson by 5-0. Charlie McGladdery grabbing 2 goals either side of half time, in amongst goals from Luke Davey, Luke Mitchell, and Jamie Hodgson, as last season's runner-up Nelson were absolutely put to the sword in Cumbria. Having looked at the squad, Nelson had managed to retain an awful lot of their team from last season, and in amongst their ranks was a player that we particularly admired from last season. Luke Heppel was in there, as well as last season's one of last season's top goal scorers, Max Kane. But neither of them proved effective, as Holker taken the league by storm on this opening day.
And so Cone drew with Ashton Town.
Yes, they did.
Now, obviously, Cone got relegated, finishing second from bottom last season.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton Town, they've been, over the last few seasons, we've been expecting, or last couple of seasons, we've been expecting them to do something really, really good. They got to the playoff finals in 2023-24. Last season, they tailed off again.
Well, they started very poorly, didn't they?
They started poorly, and then they finished a little bit better, didn't they?
Seventh, all told. I think that would have been higher, plenty higher, had they started as well as what they finished. And in fact, it took a penalty from Connor Reddy to draw them level against Cone, as they played out a 1-1 draw. In a game that was all the more significant from the touching memorial tribute that was paid towards Deborah Wright, the late wife of Chris Wright, the Ashton Town chairman, is he?
Yeah.
So a 1-1 draw there played out in memory of Deborah. But we anticipate Ashton finishing, strongly, but they probably could have done with making a better start there.
Yeah, which brings us to Daisy Hill. They're the big noise in the division. They've managed to get Angry Ginge to sponsor the stadium.
And
the Ginge Power Stadium.
The Ginge Power Stadium, and Aaron Hunt to invest his name and his time and his money into the club, and they were visited by Ashton Athletic, and they lost.
Yeah, they lost.
They did.
And the crowd, a reasonable crowd for that level.
190, yeah. So that's.
But it's nowhere near the 800 they had towards the end
very
of the
first
season.
game, when Aaron Hunt was taking over. Yeah, so Ashton Athletic, who'd finished last season in 13th, so an uninspiring season by all accounts. They took the lead just after half-time through Emmanuel Ugachuku, and therein they held out the lead to start the season on a very positive note. The other team that we would probably look at were Squires Gate, who took a 2-0 lead in at half-time against McGull, but the home side fought back, and Nathan Peat grabbing a 95th minute equaliser to ensure that the spoils were shared. Droylsden, in front of a 624 strong crowd at the Butcher's Arms, got 2 goals on the stroke of half-time through Caelan Kellini to see them beat AFC Blackpool by 2-0.
I don't know how you scored 2 goals in the 45th minute, you?
Well, you open the scoring, and then some time is added on because you've obviously scored, so you've got to reset play. Immediately steal possession, run down the other end.
45 plus 2, I thought it said penalty. It's okay.
Silly boy. Immediately run down the other end, get fouled, win a penalty, score penalty, blow whistle, go in for half-time. That's how it's done. And then Fulwood Amateurs, who were promoted at the end of last season, played out a 0-0 draw at Steeton.
Right, so okay, there was a couple of fixtures missing from that, wasn't there? I think
there were, yes. So,
MSB Walton haven't played their first game yet.
MSB Walton yet to get off the mark. I'm not sure. I can't work out actually from this who they are. Oh, they're playing Bacup Borough. So that game was due to take place, but then Bacup Borough informed the league that there were still ongoing works being done to the pitch at their stadium, so that game has been postponed. Main Road beat Garstein by a 0-0, and Darwin and Thornton Cleveland's played out a 0-0 draw at the Anchor Evo Stadium. A game that with a bit of an unexpected result there. Darwin FC finished in 6th, and we thought that they might be contenders for the playoffs last season. Not starting in the way that they might like, where Thornton Cleveland's finishing in 14th, having drawn 2 games in all of last season. Thornton Cleveland's they're now halfway to matching that tally after 1 game. So positives.
So go on, what was the 2 teams missing there? MSB Walton's one of them. Who's the other?
Bacup Borough.
Bacup Borough, yeah. Right, okay. So listen, we come to the nitty gritty now. Champions of First Division North for you.
Holker. Just the way that they started that. So to put that in perspective, Nelson finished 2nd last season. Holker Old Boys finished 4th. And that's a stunning result, even without Charlie Frost, who Nelson offered a contract to at the end of last season, and he rejected it and moved on. They still retained so much of that squad, and it's just been put to the sword. So Holker Old Boys finishing in the playoffs, they're going to go one step further this season, I feel.
Haven't spoken to their management team last season. Their problem is the real powerhouse at home. Away from home, they struggle to get squad numbers, consistency away from home. So I won't be going for them. I think they're going to be a strong team. And listen, I think they might. We'll come to the playoffs in a minute. But I'm going to go for Droylsden. I think Droylsden have. They've got the backing and support, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think they're too big to stay at that level for too long. I think. The people, the amount of supporters that are there now, be expecting them to be big and move on.
I think
quickly.
you might be right, yeah.
So I'm going for Droylsden. Playoffs?
Droylsden.
So you're going for Droylsden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ashton Town,
yeah. Good one.
Mm-hmm.
More difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. Darwin.
Oh, surprised with that. Mm-hmm.
And Cone.
Cone?
I'm going to say Cone.
Oh yeah, well listen, it's a good possibility there, isn't it, after the draw?
I've seen that Cone have been doing a fair bit of business off the pitch, and they're a bit more financially backed than they were last year.
They brought a couple of directors in.
They brought in a couple of directors, which is one thing, but they've also made a major sponsorship investment, and they're now sponsored. Their stadium is now sponsored by a local pie company.
All right.
Yeah, and I feel like that is probably a really good step forward.
Is it Peter's Pies?
It's not. It begins with a H.
Definitely not Peter's Pies. Then.
No, it's not.
I just wonder a little bit with gambling, is a pie sponsorship sort of goes against the grain of fitness.
Hafner's Eats.
Who?
Hafner's Eats.
Oh, right, I've never heard of them myself, have you?
There you go. Nope.
We'll have to try one of them pairs. We'll have to get up to Colne and try.
Well, if they have a veggie pie, that's absolutely sound by me. Yeah, so Cone, who started the season with a 1-1 draw at Ashton Town in front of it was a good, healthy crowd, to be fair, 184 turning out to see them against Ashton. So, they're my dark horses, if you like.
They can get big again, can't we? We talked about these back in the day, Northern Premier, back-to-back championship wins, and then they folded. They were a big powerhouse.
Really?
That's interesting. Back in the day, they had a fairly rich owner.
Yeah.
And then I think he pulled the plug on the football club. And
that's really disappointing.
They went out of business.
Yeah. So they had to, again, a bit like Droylsden, they had to start from the bottom, didn't they?
Yeah, most definitely. So, okay, looking at you've mentioned your playoff candidates there. I'm going to go for Holker.
Yep.
Definitely Holker. You know what? I'll go along with you with Ashton Town. I think Kev Towie will turn that round and produce something there. Mm-hmm. Ooh, it gets a little bit more difficult there. I don't know. Looking at it, Main Road.
Main Road.
Yeah, I'll go and throw that one in as a possibility.
Interesting.
And where did Main Road finish last season?
Main Road finished in 8th last season. Yeah. They tailed off. I think they were a lot of people's favourites to go up, but they tailed off quite spectacularly last season.
The only thing that is sort of playing in my mind is I've got this thing about Daisy Hill.
Okay.
But because they lost to Ashton Athletic, I'm thinking the power of Ginge didn't work.
Not for that first one, did it?
Not for that first one. So if you're looking at the candidates there to win the league, you're saying Cone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I'm tempted to go for Cone myself, but I've got this feeling about Daisy Hill. But you know what? I'll go along with you. I'll go for Cone.
Okay.
Yeah. And relegation fodder?
Garstang.
Garstang for you?
There's no doubt that Garstang are going to struggle this season. For me personally, they lost a couple of very key players that were playing for them last season, including Dan Squires, their top goal scorer, Cole Exley, who made a really decent cameo towards the end of last season, scored about 4 goals, to turn their season on a bit of an upward spiral, and then also their goalkeeper Joel Sargent, he also left for AFC. I think it was AFC Blackpool. So they've got a big rebuild job on their hands, and I just don't see them holding off this time around.
No.
So
okay, that's one of your relegation.
Yes. The other one. It'd be really funny to say Daisy Hill, but I think they'll be a bit too strong. For me. I think the only other team that I could think of that would probably be relegation fodder is I'll say Fulwood Amateurs, and this is no slight on them at all. I don't think they'll struggle particularly, or not nearly as much as Garstang. What I do feel though is that other teams are stronger.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and it's their first foray in semi-professional football.
It is.
And you wonder whether they've got the same backup or sort of power behind them as MSB Walton have.
Yeah, and I think when you certainly consider where they are locationally speaking, you look at the teams around them. Longridge Town are kicking around in that area particularly. You kind of I certainly think anyway that they may not necessarily have the grab and the pull.
I think it's going to be close at the bottom anyway, but I'm going for Thornton Cleveland's and Garstang.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you base it on last season, Garstang just about managed to stay up. I would have thrown Steeton into that, and a bit like you, I think Fulwood Amateurs as well. But because of a little bit of an unknown quantity, I think they might just shock a few people.
You might be right.
So, okay, we move on to Division 1 South.
Yeah. So again, this a league that we didn't know a whole heap about last season, but we sort of pulled together a bit of knowledge there. The big result there was between two of the mid-table teams last season, who we sort of fancy to be a bit closer to promotion this time around, and that was Runcorn Town against Market Drayton. So obviously Runcorn beat us in pre-season.
They're a good team.
They are a good team now. They since the incoming of their new managers, they are really on form there, and they beat Market Drayton Town by 4 goals to 0 in front of a decent crowd as well of 158 over to Runcorn to see them play that one out. I didn't think that they would start that particular game with a win, but that's a really heavy statement of intent there.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Listen, there was a few draws. Allscott Heath, Cheadle Heath Nomads 1-1. Asheville against Wolverhampton Casuals 1-1. Foley Mere, Telford Town 2-2. New Mills 1. Alsager Town 1. Yeah, a lot of draws there.
Yeah. It's interesting actually. Rio Wilson Hayes, who of course we know from playing for Bury last season, as well as I think he had a brief spell at Darwin as well. He's now at New Mills. He found the equaliser against Alsager Town. Foley Mere, who were looking down the barrel of relegation last season, but managed to pull themselves a bit further away as the season progressed, with a draw against newly promoted Telford Town. Some encouraging signs there for Telford, particularly as they were 2-0 up after half an hour. And then Asheville, who finished just outside the automatic promotion spots, drawing against newly promoted Wolverhampton Casuals, despite opening the scoring after 5 minutes. So there were a fair few draws there. But then at the other end of it, Stafford Town against Eccleshall was probably the biggest fixture on paper, with both teams having finished in the playoffs last season, and so you'd expect them to sort of be there or thereabouts this time around. But Stafford won 2-0, 2 goals from Matthew Hersey, getting them off to the perfect start there. And then Shawbury, who finished bottom of the league, second bottom, I beg your pardon, last season, opening with a very encouraging 2-1 win against Camel Lairds, to get their season off on a very positive note. And then Wolverhampton Sporting Community, who did finish bottom last season, losing 4-2 at home to Stockport Georgians, who finished 8th.
So we don't want to confuse Wolverhampton Sporting Community with Wolverhampton Casuals.
Nope.
There's a lot of
that would be terrible.
A lot of Wolverhampton in the Division 1 South.
Yeah, there's a bit more Wolverhampton than there was last season, and also the final fixture of the division was Barnton beating Hormond by 2-1 in front of a very healthy crowd there, 232 going up to see Barnton win there.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Barnton this season.
Is there? That's interesting. Yeah, they've got a couple of ex-Scam players of ours. So yeah, they might be on the books for a bit of a good season. Yeah.
So who are the champs? Who's going to win it?
For me, if they start this, if they carry on their form the way that the bulk of their season carried on last year, I want to say Stafford Town to go up. Okay, they finished 3rd last season, and I think it was only down to their poor form towards the end of last season, but they still managed to reach 3 finals. Now, I don't imagine they'll reach 3 finals this season, so they're my hot tip to go up.
Yeah, totally agree with this. Stafford all the way.
Cool.
Playoffs.
Interesting. Sandbach.
Right.
I think Sandbach are they're going to be one to watch. Runcorn.
Yep.
Again, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I'm going to say Eccleshall. I think Eccleshall will be in the mix again. Mm-hmm. Made some good signings. In the off season, so I think they'll be there. And then, is that all the teams as well? I feel like there's.
I think it is. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. There might be one more team.
I think there is one more team.
Yeah, there's an imbalance.
I'm not sure who that extra team is. To be fair, for me though. I'm going to say Cheadleith Nomads.
So you've got Sandbach,
mm-hmm.
Runcorn,
mm-hmm.
Cheadleheath. Who's the other one?
Eccleshall.
Eccleshall.
Yes.
Right, I'm going Runcorn, Barnton. Whoa.
Barnton?
Yeah, I'm going for Barnton.
Right.
I'm thinking there.
Finished 14th last season.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Did we find out who the other team was?
The 19th team in the division?
Yeah, we'll have to find out who the 19th team is in the...
Bear with, I'm going to Google it.
Yeah, I just wonder whether... So you've gone Sandbach play, did they? Where did they score? Where did
they... They didn't play... Oh, it's Sandbach.
Sandbach. Oh, well, you've got it covered, yeah. So, okay, I'll go Sandbach as well. So, Runcorn, Barton, Sandbach, and you know what? I'm going to throw Stockport Georgians into the fray as well.
Okay.
So, relegation?
We're going to go 2 teams.
Well, that's what you're going to do, yeah. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah, I'm going to say... I think Wolverhampton Sporting Community will be around there again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And the thing is, both the promoted teams, Hormond and Telford, and Wolverhampton Casuals, all actually had really positive results. So I'm going to say... oh, God. I'm going to say Olscott Heath, actually.
Olscott. Yeah, they finished...
They finished 15th last season.
Yeah, let's go for Olscott Heath, yeah. Okay, I'm going Wolves Sporting Community.
Okay.
And I'm going Hormond.
Yeah.
Hormond. But just purely because I don't know a great deal about them, but that sort of sums up all of those. We'll no doubt get a fair bit of flack because we've come to those conclusions.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's a difficult one anyway at this early stage to decide. Maybe we should have left it until we were 3 or 4 games in.
Do you know what? Why don't we leave it until about Christmas time and then we have a review?
Or March.
Or March, yeah.
Yeah, listen, best of luck to all the teams in the Northwest Counties.
Very much so.
It's exciting. I think it's one of the most exciting step 5, step 6 leagues in the country. To be fair, isn't it?
I think
without a shadow of a doubt. And then you look at the. Have we looked at the fixtures a little bit?
We have not, no. So the Emirates FA Cup preliminary round kicks off this Saturday as well, but there are some midweek games to be going to as well. So by the time this comes out, we will have missed them. Okay, so I suppose really we should probably look at the weekend's fixtures, theoretically.
Yeah. So where are we? We're looking at the FA Cup, like you say.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the FA Cup and we'll just pick out a couple of like the really big ones. So I suppose Bury versus South Liverpool.
Well, if you're South Liverpool, you wouldn't want to be drawn against Bury.
No.
Certainly away from home. But then looking at you might think to yourself, well, get one big payday there, but then they've got to account for all their stewards and expenses before they split the gate, I would imagine. So,
yes.
Yeah, if it was me, I wouldn't want to be playing Bury in the first preliminary round of the FA Cup. So I think that's going to be a Bury victory there.
Yeah, me too. I suppose the other kind of big game looking at that is Golcar United against Ramsbottom United. So I think Golcar had a really strong run in the FA Vars last season, if I remember correctly. I'm sure they played Atherton LR at one point during the Vars Cup run last season. But again, Ramsbottom for them, it'll be a really good test of their credentials and whether Steve's got a squad that's fully benefiting of their early season tag as promotional favourites. What do you think?
Yeah. Who are we talking about again?
Ramsbottom.
Ramsbottom
against Golcar.
Yeah, I think Ramsbottom are going to win that.
Okay.
No doubts about that.
Right.
I think some of the interesting ties of the at this early stage are the ones between between sort of Northwest Counties teams, Chadderton, Stockport Town, Charnock, Bearscough, Chadderton, Stockport,
Winsford, Winsford, West Didsbury, I think will be a great one.
Yeah,
so Winsford, Winsford are plying their trade in the in the Midlands Premier League now, having been promoted last season. West Didsbury and Chorlton were promotional, were playoffs semi-finalists last year in the Northwest Counties Prem. So they're now on a bit more of a par with each other. So that'll be a really interesting game to go down and see.
Yeah. Anything else out of that you think? Catches the imagination at all?
I think Whitton Albion versus Cheadle Town would probably be a tasty one as well. So Whitton Albion are in the they're in the Northern Premier League West, if I remember correctly. They might even be in the Northern Premier League proper. Whereas Cheadle Town are in the Northwest Counties Prem. So that'll be a really decent game for them. Down at Widgeon Park in Blackburn.
Listen, best of luck to all.
Yes.
The teams in the FA Cup. It's always a nice part of the season, and the hope, of course, is that you get through to the next round and earn a little bit of money along the way.
100%.
First Division 1 North, the biggest game in that division at the weekend is probably, I don't know, what would you say there?
So you got the local derby between Skeyersgate and Thornton Cleveley's. Or you've got the new boys in Forward Amateurs playing host to the playoff heavyweights Holker Old Boys, and then you've got Darwin, who I said were promotional favourites.
This will be an interesting one to see how close they are to the team that finished in the playoffs last season.
Yeah.
MSB Walton, it's their opening game.
It is.
They'll be looking forward to that. Best of luck to MSB Walton. Daisy Hill versus Garstang at the James Power Stadium. These are all interesting fixtures.
They really, really are.
McGull Droylsden, because McGull, in my opinion, are going to be probably one of the league's strugglers, but I don't know for certain.
It's ironic that you say that because they had two of the league's top scorers in their squad last season, Jacob Till and Darren Brannigan. But for some reason they still finished in the mid-table sector and drew their opening game. So it's an odd one, really.
Fulwood Amateurs versus Holker Old Boys at the Lightfoot Green Lane Stadium. Lightfoot. Wouldn't it be interesting there if Ben signed for Fulwood Amateurs?
Yeah, relocating from Wales to Northern Preston.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that. Listen, best of luck to Ben, by the way. He's doing really, really well at Rill. He's
doing really, really well.
Really, really well.
Well, you just said he's playing for Real, so he's doing really well.
Oh, really well.
For God's sake, Frank!
Oh, listen, it's been a long day.
Keep up, man.
But listen, best of luck to him in his season there at Rill. Yep. They're just below the Welsh Premier. I think they're good prospects for promotion themselves. So best of luck to Ben. Yeah. And just looking briefly at the First Division South
So I think you're probably looking at Sandbach. They're opening their account for the season at home to Shawbury United. Actually, they do open their account in the midweek game on Tuesday, but nonetheless,
are we back to playing Tuesday games as well for the? I still can't understand the mentality of the fixtures being fast tracked in the early part of the season. I can in the Northwest Counties Premier League because it's there's 24 teams in it, but we're talking about 18, 19 teams in the first divisions, and I just can't understand it myself.
Strange one. I
think we played nearly half games by November last season. That didn't help us at all, but they don't seem to have learned the lesson.
No, it's incredibly busy time to be in the Northwest Counties, and so it continues. Unfortunately,
yeah. Listen, and I do understand that it's difficult to run any league, and the Northwest Counties is probably one of the best run, organised institutions, leagues at step 5 and 6. So, hats off to them. I just can't understand the rationale behind that. But best of luck to everybody involved in the FA Cup or league matters. We're just moving on to the sort of final part of the show, really, and looking at what's happened at Morecambe. Again, it's Morecambe have been suspended from the National League until the middle of August as the club's ownership uncertainty continues. All players have been told to go home until further notice. Jason Whittingham and Colin Goldring have been accused of killing Worcester Warriors, who they were involved with a while back, and now they've been accused of killing Morecambe FC too. I'm not sure about the campaign to make them into the equivalent of Kim Jong-un or Putin, but they definitely have questions to answer.
An awful lot of them, yes.
So I'm assuming the National League, that there is a possibility, if they get their act together before that August date, then there's a possibility that they could be playing the season. They could start the season.
Yeah, you would certainly hope so. So we had an update from the Tsffs Trust, the fan-led group representing Morecambe FC. So wages were due again today on the 28th, and we know that they haven't been paid. We send our support to all paid staff at the club. We can't begin to understand the toll this is taking. Obviously, the situation cannot continue as it is. The Bond Group released a statement on Sunday the 27th calling for Punjab Warriors to make contact and suggesting that the Johnny Cato deal had paused. We strongly condemn Bond Group, blaming these current delays on anyone but themselves. They are in a mess of their own making. We also publicly ask Punjab Warriors to contact any involved party so that we understand their current position in relation to the purchase of Morecambe FC. For full transparency, the Trust have not had any communication from Punjab Warriors since our last update last week, despite numerous attempts to contact them. We appreciate that the Warriors have been through an ordeal with the purchase of Morecambe FC, and Bond Group have behaved appallingly towards them. However, at this very critical juncture, we politely ask Punjab Warriors to make contact in order that Shrimp fans understand their current position. As per the statements of Friday and today, the National League are now imposing sanctions on the club. We are in touch with the league, who continue to update us on their next steps. The update today is that they have suspended us until August 20th. If the situation is rectified, we will rejoin the league and our missed fixtures will be rearranged. We see this as the club now surviving on pulse rather than heartbeat. The club needs to sell to someone before that date or we will be expelled. If the club is expelled, the company which controls the club will be a worthless asset, and given the debt that the company holds, the only solution will be to reform as a Phoenix club. The Shrimps Trust believe that the only comfortable way out of this position is if Bond Group manage to sell to Punjab Warriors or if a new robust buyer comes forward now. The other consortium clearly was and is a non-starter. They're referring to Johnny Cato. and we believe that it was just a mechanism for Bond Group to try and extract more funds from Punjab Warriors, which has backfired and led to Punjab Warriors retreating from a deal. There have been details published by various parties in relation to court action against Bond Group. It is our belief that either these processes will take too long or they will not be successful. We have had meetings over the past few days with politicians, and the Football Governance Act and independent regulator will not be in place quickly enough to support us. While the Trust hope for the best, we are preparing for the worst. And should we be expelled from the National League, we will use the strong footing we are on as a trust, both from a regulatory and financially point of view, to take steps to form a Phoenix club in Morecambe. We will rely on members for support with this. If you are a fan of Morecambe FC and not yet a member of the trust, now is the critical time to join. The AGM is on Thursday. We look forward to seeing members there.
Yeah,
wow.
It's all very sad, isn't it?
It is hugely sad. You think about Phoenix teams that have been created in the past. We're looking particularly at Bury, Droylsden, Cone.
Yeah, there's a success story at the end of it, isn't there? But it's getting to that position in the first place.
It's the heartbreak and the stress that comes with.
Yeah, well, what strikes me is that these are all clubs, including Farsley, Celtic, that have actually got their own grounds, but they can't play on them.
Yeah.
We're in a position where we have no ground, we're ground sharing, and we manage to stay in business. And maybe there's something to be said about about ground sharing. About surviving anyway.
Well, yeah, it's
for all those that are critical.
Well, yeah, surviving is critical, but it's also you would hope very much that it's just a means to an end. Before things start to turn a more positive corner. But we've seen clubs that have been ground sharing. We look at Widnes, we look at City of Liverpool, teams that just patently haven't been able to survive in this current climate with what they have at their disposal right now.
Listen, we won't go into too much detail this week, but what we'd like to feature next week is the new Phoenix Football Club. Flixton Football Club.
Flixton.
Yeah, Flixton Football Club. They've managed to secure ownership through an American consortium, I believe. They're currently playing friendlies. They tried to join the Manchester League. They couldn't because I think it was a little bit too late. And they've brought in Alex Mortimer as their manager and Rodri Giggs as the assistant, former Salford manager, I believe. And like I say, they they've made these appointments following the February purchase of the club by American financier Christopher Garcia, CEO of US-based Wilshire Quinn Capital. So we'll do our homework on that one because that sounds like a very, very interesting story because they could be the next big thing in Manchester.
Yeah.
So they're saying with the addition of our new management team and state-of-the-art facilities under construction, so they're reconstructing the ground.
The old ground at Flixton.
Yeah, the future of Flixton FC is incredibly bright now. I think they went out of business in around about 2013, 2014.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, so they're undergoing a major overhaul and will receive a multi-million-pound investment. This includes the development of a state-of-the-art pitch and the renovation of a new 7,000 square foot, 2-storey clubhouse.
Gosh.
The clubhouse will have a brand new restaurant for match day dining, as well as a bar, lounge, and multi-use space for community and grassroots footballing events.
Amazing.
But yeah, listen, we'll do our homework on that one. Sounds really interesting. They tried, by the way, to join the Liverpool County Premier,
despite holding an M postcode. That's
yes,
bizarre.
Yeah, interesting one there. Listen, I don't know whether you do Twitter much.
Ish.
Yeah.
Also since you joined the club.
Well, I got very tempted because that little question about who's your most famous follower, or sort of the most famous person that's visited your profile. So it's called Grok, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Right. And have you done it yet?
No.
Well, I managed to do it. And do you know who?
So I saw.
Did you know who my famous follower was? But
your famous visitor.
Yeah.
No, go
on. Tony Bellew.
Tony Bellew. Wow.
Now I don't know whether somebody's given him a few bob to see me off, like, and punch me lights out, like. But yeah, it was an interesting one there.
Well, you are both Everton fans.
Yeah. Well, we share that in common, yeah.
I mean, it might be worth asking him if he can lend Skelmersdale United a few bob. Well, maybe Tony Bellew could be our...
well, you do wonder, don't you, that there must be somebody out there that wants to do... wants to get involved with the football club and create a success story. Listen, behind the scenes, there's a possibility of that happening.
There's a lot working on there.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have more news on that soon.
Good news.
Other little things I noticed, Clitheroe, because this is why I picked up on the Flixton story. Clitheroe were due to play Accrington Stanley last Sunday, but they pulled out on Friday noon, unable to field a team or raise a team, which is quite surprising.
Yeah.
But like I say, Flixton stepped in and said, because Flixton will play anybody at the moment because they've got nowhere to play this. I don't know whether they've actually got a league to play in this season.
I don't think they do. I mean, you would hope that they have, given how much noise is sort of being put behind them, you would think that there'd be more, you'd think that they have a league. I mean, it may be that they're in an amateur league. Right now, they might be in the Manchester Amateur Football League or the...
They applied for the Manchester League, didn't they? But yeah, they might have applied for one lower, mightn't they? Like you say, in the amateur sense. But that looks like an interesting story. There's not a great deal being said about it. It's gone right under the radar for most people. Yeah. I've not seen a great deal of news on it. But it's an interesting one. I'm looking forward to it. I think our former assistant manager to Pascal Chimbonda, Hassan Salim, is involved with the football club in some sense. I don't know whether he's the chairman, acting chairman or whatever, but I've got this feeling he's involved somehow.
That's a strange one, yeah.
But could that be another Salford?
It's possible. I mean, they've made a really good start to it. In fairness, they've clearly got some financial backing going on, and they've got things in place to see them reach some seriously good peaks on their way to being possibly a really big club. Yeah,
we're talking about multi-million-pound investments.
Yeah.
So there's something's coming off there.
Something's there, absolutely. Yeah. I think probably one last bit of news to discuss really is involving Bury. So on the 19th of July, which was a fair few days ago now, Bury Football Club can confirm the cancellation of Monday's...
Did we mention this on the last
No, we didn't.
I thought we did.
We confirmed the cancellation of Monday's North West Counties Football League Champions Cup fixture against Charnock Richard. A request was made to push the fixture back by 24 hours, resulting in the North West Counties unilateral decision to cancel the game. The refunding of tickets has begun, and Tuesday's friendly against Cheadletown will go ahead as planned. Now that is incredibly disappointing. Now the reason for the cancellation is because Bury weren't able to field a team for it, and so the North West Counties made the decision to award Charnock Richard the cup automatically.
Scant consolation for the possibility of a sizable payday, you would imagine. But
yeah,
I think in tandem with that, they released the news prior to that, or just around about the same time, that they disbanded their under-23s, and that might have had something to do.
It's possible, yeah.
Listen, there's two sides to this. I know it's not been very well received.
No,
an awful lot has been said about Bury pulling out of it. The big time.
Yeah.
Charlie sort of accolade has been attached to it.
Yeah.
And whether that's fair or not, we don't know. But there's two sides to the story.
Yeah, there is.
And they did lose their under 23s. A decision that they'd made. Yeah. So listen, I don't think we'll hear any more about that story. I think that will be buried Buried.
Very funny.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, I think we're coming to the end of the show.
Yes.
Just one quick mention. We've got Ashton Athletic on Saturday at Brooksteeds Park, is it?
Yes, it is,
Brooksteeds Park. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff if anybody's going along to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more news now?
No. It just seems to be... I think we've covered everything now.
Yeah.
Look at us.
So, what have you learned this week?
Oh, getting off to a really, really good start in the league is important, but it isn't the be-all and end-all of how you finish the season. As teams like Stafford and who else? Drorsden and Nelson will probably tell you.
Yeah, most definitely. And from my perspective, it's been a difficult week.
Yeah.
To be fair, and what I've learned is that friendships survive football. They have done where Tommy and I are concerned, and no doubt Tommy will be along to watch games during the course of next season. Listen, like I say, I've learned that friendships can last football.
Fair play.
Outlast football, yes. I should say.
Yeah.
So listen, we'll leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ the Jet, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. Each episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show is available wherever you get your podcasts, most pertinently on Amazon Music and Spotify. Please rate and review, as we do thrive on hearing your feedback. Please also subscribe so that you can be the latest to find out when a new episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show has been released. We are also available on social media, most pertinently on Facebook and X under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so from Frank and myself, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. Until then, bye-bye for now.